These days, wrestling enjoys fairly widespread popularity among sports fans. Of course, we are referring to intercollegiate wrestling, not professional wrestling. Today, Bethlehem enjoys a reputation as a hotbed for amateur wrestling. In this episode of Exploring Bethlehem, we will take a look at the man they refer to as the Pied Piper of wrestling, the immigrant who introduced this style of wrestling to our area and who gets credit as being the father of the sport here in the Valley. This is the story of Billy Sheridan. According to a book, The History of Collegiate Wrestling, Yale and Columbia wrestled the first collegiate match in 1903. 2 years later, Yale, Columbia, Pennsylvania, and Princeton got together and held the first college championship in April 1905 on the campus of Penn in Philadelphia, representing the first Eastern Intercollegiate Wrestling Association Championship. Unbeknown to those initial college grapplers, thousands of miles away a teenager in Scotland was winning wrestling championships throughout the land. This young man, then known as Willie Sheridan, would come to have a major impact on college wrestling and the development of high school wrestling in the Lehigh Valley. Sheridan, a native of Dumbarton, Scotland, was born in 1885 and started his wrestling career in 1903. His brother also wrestled. He won the 9-stone 7-pound Amateur Wrestling Championship of Scotland from 1903 through 1908. He wrestled all the best men in Scotland 10 stone and under, and never met defeat. Overall, he won dozens of titles. Around this time, he was working for the Singer Sewing Machine Company in Glasgow. He wanted to go to Canada where his sister lived, and Singer transferred him there. He set sail in April 1908. 2 years later, not favoring the cold weather of Canada, Sheridan requested a transfer to a new Singer plant opening in Philadelphia. Upon starting his new job as he walked to and from his work, he passed the University of Pennsylvania gymnasium each day. Billy would stop in and show the wrestlers holds, and at some point ended up on the mat, pinned half of the University of Penn team, and was immediately hired as coach. 1 year later, Sheridan was hired as the head wrestling coach at Lehigh University, a post he would hold for an incredible 41 years. During his tenure as head coach at Lehigh, Billy Sheridan won 223 duels, 13 EIWA team championships, and he coached 5 national championships. He established a wrestling tradition at Lehigh University that still burns brightly over 107 years after he first coached. Many Lehigh Valley adults and young future wrestlers and future coaches got their first exposure to wrestling due to Coach Sheridan's and Lehigh's success in those early years when wrestling was not well known. According to his son, Larry, Billy was the Pied Piper of wrestling right from the start. Quite an athlete, Billy's interest and participation in sports were not limited to wrestling. He boxed, played soccer and coached soccer, tennis and lacrosse. Around 1913, he became manager, coach, trainer of the intramural sports program at Bethlehem Steel. In 1918, the soccer team won the national championship. Billy Sheridan passed away in 1960 at the age of 74. He left a tremendous legacy at Lehigh University, in Bethlehem, in the Lehigh Valley, and well beyond. Billy Sheridan coached and inspired a countless number of coaches and wrestlers during his lifetime. The Pied Piper of wrestling had a tremendous impact on all levels of the sport of wrestling on a national scale. The Lehigh Valley was very fortunate to have Lehigh University and Billy Sheridan in Bethlehem. This was a critical factor in the development of the sport that we know and enjoy today in high schools throughout the Lehigh Valley and beyond.